an integration consultant, so I have worked on different integration, as in integrating Fusion apps, okay, then Workday, okay, on-premise to on-premise, right? Then WAM to Oracle Business Suite, okay. So, and then I have worked on SOA OSB, okay, and I have worked on cloud services as well, like integrated cloud services. Okay, so basically here we are going to learn about Oracle SOA Suite product. Okay, so let me share my screen so that I can explain. But I don't know, I'm not able to. Yeah, I have added the extension. Just a moment. Okay, I think it is asking for some download.
Able to see.
Okay, fine. So if you see from the certification perspective, okay, let's say when we say Oracle certified SOA expert or SOA professional, okay, in that case, okay, so you have Oracle SOA. Right? So in that case, you will have to know Oracle SOA, as in means when we say Oracle SOA Suite, we does understand that it's basically your people and then mediator, human task and business rules, but it's more than that. So if I say Oracle SOA certification, this is Oracle's own product, as in means this is actually called Oracle SOA Suite, but when you go for the certification, you have to take more than that. Okay, so mediator, then you have something called human task flow. Okay, you have business rules. Okay, then you have adapters. Okay, this is then you have event delivery network, right? So this is all in Oracle SOA Suite product. Okay, and then apart from this product, if you go for certification, you have to know about B2B, you have to know about BAM, business activity monitoring, and then you have to know about OSB also. So yes, so if you go for Oracle SOA Suite certification, you have to take all these things. Okay, but here in this session, we are going to discuss about this Oracle SOA, because this itself is a big topic like this. Okay, so if I have to divide OSB, then it has, again, you know, right, that it has proxy services, right? Then it has business services. Then it has pipeline, right? Then again the same technology adapters, cloud adapters, and all those things. So this is again as big as your Oracle SOA course. Okay. So in this session, we are going to discuss about this and a basic session about OSB. Okay, basic session as in what is proxy service, what is business services, why do we use OSB. Okay, so what is the purpose of OSB? Okay, if you see here, we are going to discuss this. Okay, OSB basic session here. So, and we will see an example how we connect to how do we. I mean, OSB is basically used for connecting the composites, right? Different SOA composites. So we are going to see one example of it. Okay, so it's a very basic session, but yes, that we are going to cover here. Okay, in the OSB basic session. Okay, so yes, so this is about the means the thing that we are going to cover. Have any questions? No?
No, nothing right now.
Okay, so so this is we are going to cover as part of this course. Okay, so let me show you the course content first. Okay, so since I think you are already aware what is SOA and what exactly the purpose of that, right? How we have migrated from programming or rather you might say that procedural language or object-oriented programming to service-oriented architecture, right? So, but yes, sorry?
I would prefer to cover that also again.
Yes, definitely I'm going to cover, because whatever is written here, I am going to cover all those things, okay? So, then basically you, what is, how Fusion middleware architecture works, right? And what are the things that we have in the technology stack, right? So what are the different integration architectures that we follow, as in our any integration projects, right? Then we are going to see about the XML technologies, right? So in order to learn SOA, you need to have an idea of XML technologies, and you need to be very, you need to have a very fair idea about the XML things, as in you need to know about the XML message, then what is XML schema, right? That XSD we say, XSD, XPath, okay? These are the things that you need to know. And then any SOA, if you go for service-oriented architecture, how the communication happens, it's through a SOAP message, and then WSDL and all those ideas you need to have as well, right? And then if you have knowledge on PL/SQL or Java, and if you want to expose your programs as as a service, as a web service rather, okay, then in that case you need to you can do that as well, and you can expose it as a service, okay, and then you can use it, okay, in your any SOA service. So that is how whatever program we have written in a traditional way, we can expose it as a service also. Okay. Now this is about your basic to cope you up with the SOA before learning the SOA things, right? So here we are going to learn about Oracle SOA suite. Okay, we have means we will understand people, mediator, human task, business rules, different adapters. So we are mainly covering 3 adapters, as in, okay, DB adapter, file adapter, and JMS adapter. FTP adapter, since I don't have any FTP server, but file and FTP are pretty similar. Okay, so you can think of like we will be covering 4 adapters. Okay, so that is one thing, and then we will see about the runtime architecture of SOA, which you already know about the SOA admin. So the same thing, the partitioning, the clusters, machines, right? And then how we deploy, right? Then MDS export and all those things. Basically, exception handling is a very vital part in any programming language or any architecture you go. Okay, security we'll see. Okay, like OWSM security. And SAML token, we'll talk something about that. How do you do testing? Unit testing, deployment, right? Business events, as I told, EDN, right? Event delivery network that we are going to see. Some of sensors. Sensors is basically for monitoring purpose, okay? And somewhat we can see some, means we can talk about SOA governance, right? So SOA governance is done by the architect and the admin guys, right? Or exposing the services to, or register the services to OSR, right, and give some description about it in OER. Okay, so, and we'll see some concepts of some advanced concepts of people, right? Correlation set, dehydration, right? The dynamic partner links, okay, and some topics on mediator as well. Okay, so these are the things that we are going to cover. Okay, so. Now to start with the demo, as in, okay, so now since we had initially the point-to-point architecture, right? So if you see an example of point-to-point architecture, so this can be one example, right? So where so you have, let's say, package CRM, okay, application. These are all packaged applications, right? So CRM, ERP, any mainframe application, any EJB application, and you have client tiers, right? So you see here one point is connecting to different points, right? Different integration points, right? So let's say if one point is down, so it will affect others also, right? It will affect others, and similarly, if it happens on the other hand, you need to suffer, because in that case you won't have any access to that particular application, okay, and because of that you can have huge loss, okay, since it's a tightly coupled. So when it is point to point, it is tightly coupled, right? So this is tightly coupled, and let's say if you have to implement any change in one of the application, you need to do changes at both the end, right? Both the, let's say the CRM application is written in PL/SQL and custom logic is written in Java, so you have to change in both the pieces, right? In PL/SQL also, in Java also. And so for that you need to invest a lot in the development effort, testing effort, right? And then you have certain risk associated with that as well, right? So this is one disadvantage apart from your tightly coupled application, right? The next is yours, the flexibility. So in your services, you do not have flexibility to scale it, right? You lack scalability, you lack flexibility, you lack the interoperability. Okay, interoperability, as in, let's say one application can be used for multiple purposes, or they can be used for let's say a calculator service, okay, a calculator program. You can use it in multiple places, right? But if you make it a service, then that service can be invoked by many services, okay, and they can interoperate between each other. Okay, so that is lacking in point-to-point architecture. Okay, so these are the disadvantages of point-to-point architecture. Okay, so then we have come up with service-based, so means message bus or middleware based architecture, where there was a message bus, okay, and all application was connected to that. Okay, so if message bus is down, then what we are going to do? Okay, so we do not have any answer, because if it is down, then none of the systems will be able to connect to each other. Okay, so they have come up with this message bus or service bus, you can say, kind of. Okay, related, but service bus has a lot of flexibility, as in message bus doesn't have that. So with that architecture, okay, then then we have come up with the SOA architecture, okay, where everything is exposed as service. Okay, so this is the SOA layer, okay, where everything is service, as I told. Okay, so check credit card is a service, right? Verify customer address is a service. Set up account is a service. Contact fraud check is a service. Okay, so these are basically all services. Okay, and business service, you have workflows also. Okay, so you in a workflow you can call those services. Okay, so basically service means everything will be, like in a calculator program, let's say. Okay, add is a method, subtract is a method, divide is a method, right? So there, in service-oriented architecture, we say everything is service. As in, calculator program can be exposed as a service, or let's think it as a service. Okay, so under that service, let's say add is a operation, subtract is an operation. Okay, division is an operation, multiplication is an operation. So all these operations, and all this communication in service-oriented architecture happens through SOA message, which is nothing but an XML. Okay, and you do not need to change any message communication, as in, okay, because the services can be developed using PL/SQL, Java, or Oracle SOA Suite, any of the means. Okay, so when the requester has to call that service, they don't have to know the endpoint, the service, the language that is used to develop the services. They can communicate using XML or SOA. Let me show you one diagram about that. Let's see whether I have it. Okay, fine. So in that way we can arrive. So let me otherwise draw. Okay, so let's say this is your service. Okay, this is your service. Okay, here you have multiple operations. So here, let's say this is your calculator service. Okay, let's say you have add operation. Okay, you have subtract operation. You have multiply operation. Okay, so let us think about these three operations. Okay, so here once you develop this service, okay, so you will have one WSDL. Okay, WSDL is Web Service Description Language. Okay, so like when we do develop a program traditionally, what we have in that case, we will have a method signature or parameter signature, right? Let us see here what we will have. So let's say we will have class calculator, right? Calculator. We have different operations here, or methods rather. Public void, so public add, right? And we see something. We write the code here. Similarly, we'll have public int subtract. We'll write the code here, right? So seeing at the class name and the method signature, okay, so if we pass any number or something like that, okay, so we can make out that what is the method, what is the data type, what are the parameters we are going to pass, and what is the return type. So these are all information we get it in the WSDL, right? WSDL is Web Service Description Language. Okay, so what are the parameters that add is going to take? What is the return type of that? So that description will be provided in WSDL. Okay, so this is calculator will become service provider. Okay, service provider. And we will have multiple service consumer. Okay, multiple service consumer. So we can just who can just consume the services. Okay. So we will have these are all service consumers. Okay. Consumer 1. Consumer 2, so they are all service consumers. Okay. So they will just need to have the WSDL, okay, and they will all communicate via XML message, which is nothing but our SOAP, Simple Object Access Protocol. Okay, they will communicate via SOAP. Okay. SOAP message. They will all communicate via SOAP message. Okay. So see now, if you see here, this might have been developed via a Java program or by Oracle SOA suite. So they do not have to know about that. What they have to know about the WSDL. Okay, and based on that WSDL, they can create the SOAP message and communicate with this service provider. Okay, so these are very loosely coupled, right? And this can be used by multiple any other again consumers, right? So flexibility is also there, and calculator service can be used by another service also. Okay, so let's say this consumer can be another service provider. Okay, so what I mean to say, let's say this consumer, I'm assuming, so let's say this is, sorry, okay, let's say this is your okay, this is your shopping cart service. Okay, so when we say service oriented architecture, we will all say all our services. Okay, so shopping cart services or shopping cart service. Okay, here in shopping cart service, we will have item price calculation. So item price calculator. Okay, so item price calculator. item price calculator. Okay. This is item price calculator service. Okay. So see here. Okay. So once you develop this calculator service, can be used by multiple programs. Okay. So this item price calculator. So shopping cart service will call item price calculator service, and item price calculator service will call calculator service to calculate, right? So interoperability is also there, right? So it can internally call the services. Okay. And staying at here, you cannot make out, right, that it is using another service, right? So there is no transparency as it. Okay. Flexibility, as I told. So what are the advantages of service-oriented architecture? Is loosely coupled. Okay. Cost efficient, because you do not have to know the endpoint technology, what exactly is used to develop the services. Okay. You have flexibility, right? You have interoperability, you have scalability as well, right? So these are the advantages of service-oriented architecture. Okay. Now you can have different version of services, let's say 1.0, 1.1, okay, and based on your requirement you can use it, right? So whenever you are ready to use the latest version of the service, you can use it. Otherwise you can continue to use 1.0. Okay, so that flexibility is also there in Oracle SOA Suite or any SOA service-oriented architecture, any services. Okay. Now, once you are done with different services, okay, you have to register those services in some repository, which is called UDDI. Okay, which is nothing but that universal description, definition, and integration. Something means. So that's basically a repository. Okay. So repository where yes, universal description, discovery, and integration. Okay, which is basically a repository where you place all your services in a repository. Okay, so that, let's say I am a fresh developer in the organization and I have to use the calculator service. How would I know that whether there is already a calculator service developed or not, right? So I have to go to UDDI and I'll check for the catalog whether it is there or not. So if it is there, I do not have to develop. I will just use it. Okay, so you can think OSR as an UDDI, OER as an UDDI product. Okay, so this is kind of your entire service-oriented architecture, how it works. So any confusion in this?
Is that UDDI or OER, is it specific to an organization level, or?
OER is a specific to Oracle. Okay, so if I show you that OER.Fusion, so there is a product called Oracle Fusion Apps, which is a cloud ERP by Oracle. Okay, so just a moment, I'll just tell you. Yes, Fusion Apps OER.Oracle.com. Let's say I want to know, I want to send some data to cloud. Okay, so as in I want to send some, let's say, employee information or invoice information to cloud. Okay, how do I know that which service I am going to use, right? So all those things you will get to know about the OER. OER is a kind of documentation piece, and original service registration is kind of your OSR, Oracle Service Registry. Okay, so here I will just go to this, let's say release 12. Okay, and there I'll get to know about see SOAP web services references cloud. So I'll go here. Okay, and see here. Here I'll get to know about business objects invoking web services. Okay, so here you will get to know about things. Okay, just a moment. Java client, is it? So there, I'll just tell you, one moment. Okay, object services. Okay, so let's say you want to send some data, let's say journal data, to your Fusion. Okay, so how do you do that? Okay, so you will have, this is the documentation piece. Okay, so here if you see HTTPS, your basically your host and port, then FIN, GI, desktop entry, journal entry, import services, WSDL, right? So you will have the WSDL. So this is your basically the WSDL information, okay? And it will talk something more about the like what are the operations. If you see, import journals is an operation, get DF, LD object, whatever something is an operation. So it will try to enlist the documentation. Then what is the security imposed on this service, right? Certificates or public-private keys, okay? So these are the things that are mentioned here. And in addition to that, there are some setup that you have to do in order to access the web services, okay? So the main agenda is to say that this is OER, okay? And this is very specific to Oracle. That's what it is called, Oracle Enterprise Repository, okay? Which is different from Oracle Service Registry. Service Registry is you originally keep your services there, okay? So documentation part is OER, and original service repository is called Oracle Service Registry. Okay, so that is how it is. Yeah. So any other thing?
No.
Okay. So so this is basically your about an idea of how service-oriented architecture works. Okay. So we'll see these things in detail. Okay. So what are the different integration architectures that we have in place? And I think since you are into middleware, you are already aware that the SOA is a middleware product, right? And we have it in the middleware layer, right? So there is a network layer, then storage, servers, virtual machine, operating system, database, and in between database and applications, we have this middleware, okay? So this is a middleware product, right? And we have different technology sets in this middleware layer, right? I just have captured one thing in the middleware. Okay, so I just rotate it. So where WebLogic is the heart of the middleware product, right? And we have ADF, MAF. ADF is a Java, is a web application product where you can develop your web applications, right? So application development framework. Then we have SOA Suite, and then ODI and Golden Gate. These are all basically again integration tools, right? But the ODI is not real time, but Golden Gate is a new acquisition by Oracle, so it's again real time product. But when we have a huge set of data, the batch mode data and real time, both we can transact. Okay. Then IoT, PI analytics, PI or analytics, content management, UCM is a product name. VPN suite, web center portals, mobility, and Node.js is basically to connect to any legacy application. Okay, so and all this runs on your WebLogic. Okay, so and you have a very big topic, IDM. Okay, so identity manager, where you have a huge range of products, OAM, ONIM, so access manager, identity manager. Okay, then you have entitlement servers, right? And then you have OID, OVD, right? So all those products comes under this IDM. Okay, and other way you have the enterprise infrastructure. Okay, so all these things you have to run on enterprise infrastructure. Right? It can be your hardware, software, right? So the RAM systems, right? Operating systems and all those things. Yeah. So this is about your the middleware product. Okay. So if we have to see how SOA works in integration, we can just imagine a particular scenario. Okay. That how it happens. So let's say you have different, as I told, you have different application. Let's say HIS application. So just I have depicted one diagram. So healthcare information or health information system, you have a number of systems, okay, where you have different adapters. Okay, so you will send data to Oracle E-Business Suite. Okay, so using adapters, you will make connection and then you will send the data to staging table. So this integration strategy says that whenever you have to get data from some third-party system, you put it in the staging table. Then you call their native APIs or web services to push the data here. Okay, so that is what is done Oracle repository, standard tables will be populated. Okay, so that's what is done. So middleware layer is this one. Okay, so there are two applications, and we have used middleware layer in order to design the integration. Okay, so now in terms of SOA suite, if we have to learn, we need to install this. We need to download this JDeveloper. Okay, where we will be developing our SOA services. Okay, so the latest one is I think it's 12.2.1. Okay, so 12.2.1.3 or something like that. So you have to download that. Okay, so you have to download the SOA suite product, not the standalone JDeveloper. So you have to download this SOA suite product. Okay, so in order to learn that. So yes, so this is about the things that we have to know in terms of before learning SOA, we will have again, we have to know about the XML technologies and all those things. I would suggest, if you want to learn by yourself, anyhow I am going to show, but if you want to learn about the XML technologies, this is the best site that you can follow, W3 Schools, okay, where you will get the XML tutorial as well. Okay. So yeah, that's it. From my end, okay, that about SOA and all those things. If you have any questions?
Okay, once we get into the session, right, so you will be concentrating mostly into the development area on how to, the concepts of the development, as well as how to develop some basic services kind of taking example.
Yes, so let me tell you that. So first 1 or 2 sessions would be on theory. Okay, theory. So just one or 2 sessions, because if you see, this part will be mostly onto theory. Okay, and not this much, even this much only. That's it. So so this much would be theory, and XML XSD we will see some example. Okay, and we still will see how the structure is and what is SOAP message. Okay, different services. Okay, so just I'll add one point now. So if you see here now SOAP, right? So now the latest now SOAP is also there, but we are also communicating through REST. Okay, so REST also. Okay, so it can be.
The thing is, I'll be able to relate all this terminology because I'll be listening into my day-to-day life.
Yes, yes.
And REST services, but I don't know what is the actual importance of those services and what is the.
I will tell you that. Yes, I'll tell you that. Okay, what exactly the difference is? How do you call that? Okay, so when we talk about REST, it is WADL, not WSDL. Okay, so we will, and then how do we call a REST web service? Means here it is a REST service. So REST is a service. Okay, it's a communication methodology, but in SOAP it is a communication media which is based upon XML, right? It is based upon XML. REST can based upon your XML or JSON. Okay, so JavaScript object notation. Okay, so that is the thing. Yeah, so we'll see all these things. Okay, so first is, yeah, so first I'm not at all into a Java technology till now. So for any of these, do we by any chance do we need any development knowledge? Because which I don't have at all. Development knowledge, as in you don't need. Okay, because if you know, you might have done like C++ in your college days, right?
Mm-hmm.
So if you know about those things, I think that would be more than sufficient. And in SOA, we don't, means many people say you need to know about Java and all those things, but ideally speaking, to learn and to know, the basics, and to a certain extent, you don't need Java. Okay, but if you need to do very advanced level, as in let's say 1% chance of that case you need Java. Okay, 1%. So mostly I would say 99% you don't need Java. Okay. Okay, because everything is a drag and drop. Okay, let me show you that. Okay, let me show you an existing example. Let me show you one example. I am not sure. So, because my current candidate, who has enrolled, she doesn't know about about your this one. Okay, means Java. So she has also learned things. Okay, so let me show you this. Let me see. So this is a composite. Okay, so this is your endpoint. You will have idea on this endpoint and you will call this. Okay, so if you see here, see, this is all drag and drop. Okay, so you need to know the mathematics. That's it, nothing else. Okay, because any programming language, if you see, what is the main thing? You need to know the algorithm, right? And the rest of the things you can Google it and you can basically put in that programming language's terminology. If I am correct or wrong?
That is correct. Yeah. If
Right.
you know the actual thing that whatever you are trying to achieve with a proper flow, yeah.
Right. So it's all about logic and all about algorithm, right? So same thing in people also. Here it's a diagrammatic representation that let's say assign. Okay. So assign, what we do? What does that mean? So assign means variable assignment, right? Something like that. So see here, so the same thing I have done, but this is XPath. I'll explain you why when we enroll for the session. Okay, so I'll make you understand what is XPath and all those things, right? So what we do, assignment means I can think of like this, right? A equal to 1. So here people has come up with certain activity, right? That here you have to do like that. Okay, how do we define variable? So I go here, I define variable here. Plus icon and I have variable here. Okay. So similar thing in C++ we used to define, right? If you remember that void main, under that we define method and all those things. The similar thing that we are going to do here. Okay. So as I told, so 99% you don't need Java. Okay. So when we need Java, so if we have, let's say, we need a customer is saying that logging I am going to do using Java. Okay. So in that case, okay, so and then I want to handle fault handling by Java. Okay, so these are the things then you need Java, otherwise you don't need. But fault handling, many client does through through adapters, DB adapters, JMS queues. Okay, logging also they do via JMS queues and all those things. Okay, so you do not need to know as in Java. Okay, it's good if you have knowledge, you will be, you will have an added advantage. That's it, nothing else. You don't need to know any Java, because see, as I told you here, everything is diagrammatic representation, right? So you don't need as in Java. Okay, so the first, before we start, I just wanted to tell you that about installation. Okay, so which system you have? It's a MacBook, or it's a Mac, or it's a WebLogic. Sorry, it's a Windows system.
It's a Mac. I have a Mac system.
Okay, so the current problem with Mac is I'm not sure whether you have installed Oracle XC database there by any chance, 11G or 10G.
Oracle database.
Yes, so to learn things, okay, so what are the system requirements that I'm going to tell you, okay? So I'm just going to tell about something on system requirements, okay, and our course curriculum, okay. Course curriculum is different than your course content, okay? So system requirement is you need to install SOA Suite Pack, okay, and you need to download Oracle, XC database, okay. XC 11G or 10G would also suffice, I believe, but yeah, but you need to know. Means you need, if it's better if you have Oracle and JDK 1.8, I think update 51 plus. Okay. In SOA Suite is now updated with R12 213 or 223 or how, whatever it is. So the latest one, whatever is the latest one.
Okay.
So you need to download the software. Okay. Why this Oracle XC database? You can learn up to a certain extent without Oracle XC database, because in Macs you was not able to install. Okay. So if you don't install, you will miss certain topics, as in I can show you in my system, but you cannot practice it. Okay. So that is one thing. As in DB adapter, you will not be able to handle, means from your end, okay, which is very vital and crucial adapter, and it is very frequently used. Then you cannot do MDS setup, DB based MDS setup. Okay. So because of that, you might miss certain topics. Certain topics, as in you cannot practice by yourself, but I have everything, so I can show you that. Okay.
Got it.
Yeah. So before, so that you are very clear beforehand. So like once you, okay, and in course curriculum, as I told, we'll have some 10 to 15% of theoretical, and as you can see, means all of the services that I have shown to different candidates in different batches, right? So will be all practical based, and the means all. And I'm going to show you an example. Whatever theory, the same will be deployed in a in services. So it will be a totally practical oriented session. Okay. Because unless you do that, you won't understand. Okay, that's what my belief. Okay, so you have to practice on that. Okay, and then we'll have project. One project I'll give you. Okay, some order management. Okay, so that you have to practice. Okay, so this is about this is one thing, and yeah, and the vital piece is in the course curriculum is installation. Okay, if you can manage some Windows system also. If you have Windows 10, then the installation is different. Windows 7, the installation is different. Okay, so so these are the things that I just wanted to mention. Okay, before we enroll for the course, and the course will take around 30 hours, 25 to 30 hours. Okay, based on you how you pick up. Okay, so that's how. I mean, if you pick up very quickly, if you are able to practice a day-to-day session, or let's say you are pretty good with the next topics, we can move faster. Okay, and yeah, so that is about the course curriculum too.
So when you say 25 to 30 hours, like how many hours session will be there in general, and how many days it is going to take?
See, I will tell you with the current example. When she enrolled, she was saying that she has to complete it within 20 days or 30 days, okay, something like that. Now the course expands 1.5 months. Okay, so this this Saturday she has last session. Okay, so something like that. Okay, so I expect that every day 1.5 hours or 2 hours would be sufficient. Okay, I need some around 12 to 14 sessions. That's what I am saying. Okay, 14 sessions you can think of. Okay, 14 to 15 sessions, 2 hours a session. If 1.5 hours, then it will increase. So that's all. Okay, so initially we started with 4 sessions. Now it is now it was weekly 2 to 3 sessions, something like that. Okay, so.
Oh, okay. So what you mean is like weekly, you can take up to 3 classes. So
yes.
That way. Okay.
Right. Okay. So that's how. I mean, depends how you pick up. Okay, I can make you. Means I can take you through the course in a couple of days also, but that won't help you, right? Because learn things.
That is definitely correct, because right now at least I have some knowledge on the administrative portion, at least anyways, I know the day-to-day deployment activities, installation, all these things. I have a ready environment where I can start it up, but I'm purely concentrating on learning the development part of the services. So yeah.
Right. Okay, so that's the point, right? You have to learn things. So
Because I just don't want to stuck up just as an admin. So I wanted to get into like end to end. I should be able to develop some services, not completely what our developers are doing right now, but at least that will help. That knowledge will help at least for me integration.
Yes, exactly. And the way I will teach you, you will be able to, you'll be able to uh, uh, means you will be in a situation where you can start working in a project also. Okay, so I will talk about all those things in something. Okay, you won't get that service definition or implementation in Google also. Okay, so that is one crucial thing that I wanted to tell you. Okay, so that you won't get it in Google. So some services I have, frankly speaking, I have gone through the SOA developer guide. Okay, so this is the developer guide. Okay. I'll pass in all of these things. Okay, so SOA developer guide, and I have developed those. Okay, and another thing is I can give you the videos also. Okay, so that you can later on learn things. Okay, because that is actually very important, I felt. So you can go any number of time and can learn things. Okay. Videos, as in, I'm not sure whether the recording facility is there. I think recording facility is there. So yes, that should be there, I think. So you have to check with them. Okay, so I don't have anything that with the
Yeah,
video,
when I spoke with Gilani, I specifically mentioned that because I need a recording session.
Yes, I absolutely understand. Okay, so anyhow I give that. Okay, so no worries in that. So for current student also, I have given the videos. Okay, so
yeah, because what happens is with the day-to-day busy schedule, we will not be able to catch up that fast. But even if the session is completed, that will be like for the refresh.
Right. So I have given the videos to her also. Okay, so okay, so okay then. So we'll wind up here.
Yeah, should be.
Okay.
Yeah. Hi, Raja. Thanks for your time. I will talk to Vishal and update you the status by tomorrow, sir. Okay.
Yes, absolutely, no problem in that.